Hi guys, welcome to Weebish Raccoon. This is going to be the first video of the channel, so I'm super excited to get this started. Now, since this is going to be the first video, I just want to let you guys that I'm going to be covering pretty much anything that goes on in the internet. Games, manga, music, whatever. As long as it's something interesting to me, I'll probably talk about it. You can come by and look at my very sane, very common sense take on a lot of the absurdity going on in today's world. Now, today I'm going to be talking about Callisto. Callisto is a game that a lot of people are aware of. The people that made Dead Space 1 made Callisto. You can, through the trailers themselves and even the game, the ambiance of the entire game, if you watch some playthroughs, you can really tell that the people that made Dead Space 1 made this game. They were masters of it in Dead Space 1, which is the reason why Dead Space 1 is probably one of the best horror games in all of gaming history. Quote me on that. You can see a lot of that in this game, and anybody that I've seen talk about this game, they all 100% guarantee that the ambiance, the art, the graphics is triple A, top tier shit. There are two critical failures that the Callisto pretty much failed to land. The first one is launching in suboptimal state on PC. Now, I know PC gets a bad rap because they get the shit ports. However, that was truly the case for this particular game. It was launched with massive amounts of stuttering, bad performance, people running 4090 Ti's and being able to scratch out 20 frames per second if they weren't being bombarded by stuttering. Extremely bad optimization. People also attribute de novo. De novo is a type of anti-piracy software that this company implemented into the game to prevent people from basically ripping it off and then posting it up somewhere on the internet for free. So they used de novo and straight up just bad optimization. So those two things kind of compounded on each other and produced a really sloppy mess for PC. Now, Xbox and PlayStation had better ports. They don't need to recompile the shaders, and since they're in a console ecosystem, they really don't need de novo there, right? The Xbox and Sony have their own guidelines to avoid pirates on their platforms. The second thing that this game failed on was the battle mechanics. Now, I am starved enough. I am hungry for this game to such a point where I would forgive repetitive battle mechanics. This game has been chopped up to dodge and melee. That's basically what it is. You dodge some, you melee when you can. You dodge some, you melee when you can. Enemies are bullet sponges. You need to unload an entire clip into an enemy in order to take them down, which kind of sucks. I think that type of mechanic would have been. It's not a bad. It was not a bad route to take. In general, okay, because if you're focusing more on close range mechanics like melee, you get to see the monster more. You get to fight against them. You're able to see them up close. You can feel terror better. I think it would have been more. It would have brought you more to the edge of your seat if they focused on melee properly. They did not. Unfortunately, they gave this game the depth of the mechanics for melee in this game or as deep as a puddle. It's a shame. If they would have done it correctly, maybe game would have been a lot better received. Maybe people would have forgiven it a little more. And the third thing, personally, I think that really pissed me off to the point of me not wanting to purchase the game, and period, was the optimization. And let me get into that a little bit. The developers were obviously working really hard on this game. There were several posts of the developers talking about massive crunch, hats off to them. They were facing the floor, their eyes on the floor, grinding the game out, and that's respectable. However, Crafton knew the condition and what the game was at release, right? For PC at least. It is extreme. It feels to me extremely insidious that the company would release the game with such bad ports, okay? Now, what really ticked me off was 2 days after the release of this game. This game was released December 1st, and on December 3rd, when I was doing my initial research of the game, I was told that there was a performance patch. I think it was either day 1 or day 2, but on December 3rd, there was an established patch that kind of smoothed some things over. Now, most people thought that's a good thing. There's a patch that makes the game run better. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that this company, the publisher, maybe even some of the developers were assholes because they couldn't avoided an extra 4 or 5 days, maybe a week, to release a better patch to smooth out a lot of this stuttering of this mess of a game. They couldn't have waited an extra week or two. I know it's probably the higher ups in Crafton that decided that, but to me that felt inexcusable. Okay, if you're going to launch with a big day 1 patch, delay the game for a week, apply the patch, and better the optimization. A game that comes out with this many bugs is inexcusable. I'm going to talk about Battlefield in another video, my opinions on that. But in this game in particular, this is a campaign horror shooter. Ambiance matters. The sum of its parts is greater. It's greater than the sum of its parts, right? The ambiance, ray tracing, it adds to the ambiance of the game that you're playing through. And a lot of the reviews down here, when the game first launched, they were talking about turning off certain settings, like turning off the Nouveau, turning off the Nouveau, I wish, turning off ray tracing, turning off blur, turning off field of depth, tweaking the settings to gimp your game enough for it to perform at least on an acceptable level. And to me, that's awful. Why would I want to gimp my first playthrough of a game in order to play it on an acceptable level? It's like losing your virginity. You do not want to lose your virginity to a lot lizard behind the gas station of a Buc-ee's. You want a big booty Latina, and unfortunately, this is not a big booty Latina. This is a lot lizard. Promises you everything, and then when it's time to deliver, gives a shit. So most people, rightfully so, were pretty upset with this game and the company that produced it. Yeah. So it sucks. Now let's look at Crafton here. Crafton, like I said, is the publisher that sent out Callisto Protocol, and here you can really appreciate what happened. The company had a really nice, steady stock price. December 1st, day of release, it peaked. Maybe they were really looking for a bull there. At 9 a.m. on December 1st, probably some investors saw the reviews on Steam and they pulled. They kept pulling. And then, YouTubers probably got wind of what's going on. They started making their videos and they kept pulling out. And then boom. Talk about a loss, huh? It sucks. I mean, I hate to say it, but they rightfully deserve this drop. Obviously, I don't want anybody to get fired. However, someone should get fired over the decision to early release this game when it needed more time in the oven. And truly, it is not the developer's fault. I know they've been crunching. But I mean, it has to be somebody's fault, and it's probably the publisher that pushed them to release this. Now, I do not want to leave this on such a negative note. There are other game companies, indie publishers, trying to make games similar to Dead Space, create good spiritual successors to it. And this here is Negative Atmosphere. Roanoke Gaming was the person that kind of made me aware of this game. And honestly, I am super excited for this one. Hopefully, because it's indie, the developers will take care and the game a little more, you know. Has really nice ambiance. It sounds pretty good. So I'm hoping that maybe this game, Callisto, won't scare away other developers or other publishers from dabbling in this type of game. It can be done. It can make, you know, landmark games. You know, it's just, it's a shame, you know. I really was hoping that this Callisto would be the game of the year for me. However, unfortunately, it will probably be a game I pick up in a year when it's, you know, 80% off. It's one of those things, right? Alright, so that's been the video. If you like it, like. If you didn't, dislike, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.